Hey everybody, sporting my Oscar the Grouch shirt and my bottle of Pepsi here. I wanted to take a few minutes in front of the camera and thank those of you who watched my last video, which was based on the SEGA CD. As you noticed, you saw the title Pete's Perspective leading into that video, and I also used that for a heading for my consolation blog where I embedded the video so that more people could see it. Plus, I also shared it on RetroWare TV. My plan with Pete's Perspective is to make it into a regular web series. I'm hoping to do it every week. We'll have to see whether I can actually make that happen based on things that are going on in my life. I'm going to be transitioning jobs soon. Going to be moving away from the bowling alley as it was too physically intensive for me to keep up with. And I'm also going to be going back to school in January. So I'm going to be juggling some changes in my life. But I really want to make this web series, if not a weekly thing, then a bi-weekly thing. And basically get in front of the camera as I did then and talk about games and systems from the past and my particular memories of them and what they mean to me. I take a lot of inspiration from or for that from Halfbit over at Retrospective Perspective, who is a great person, very dynamic. If you haven't watched his videos here on YouTube or subscribed to his channel, I really, really, really recommend it because what he's done and the high level of production value that he puts in is something that I always wanted to do when I thought about doing some writing or some video shooting for the with the retro community in mind. Uh, he really approaches it from, as it says in his channel, from his perspective. And to me, that's important. There are a lot of talented video content producers that do review videos a lot. And so many of them do a fantastic job from uh, James Rolfe is the angry video game nerd, all the way down to great people like 8-Bit Eric and others. I mean, I could literally name dozens. The Backlog with Joe Walker, the guys over at GameSack, Retrophile TV, all of these guys do a fantastic job with reviews. Pat the NES Punk. I mean, I could go on and on. I draw inspiration from these guys, but really, it was Halfbit over at Retrospective Perspective uh, that made me realize that what I'm probably best at if I'm going to do a web series like this is just to kind of approach things uh, from a personal level and talk about why these games and systems are significant to me. So that's what I'm hoping to do. So I want to thank Halfbit. I also want to thank Norm, the gaming historian, uh, who has also been an inspiration and uh, basically, although he hasn't really pushed hard, he's basically asked the question that I had to ask myself, and that was why not? Why not you? Why can't you do it? And I've always made excuses. I don't edit my videos, as you know. I don't have a script. I don't have props. I don't have a green screen. All I have is a webcam on this laptop and my personality and my knowledge, and that's it. But regardless of whether 5 people watch or 500 people watch, it's cool just to be able to use this as a platform to get my thoughts out there and see whether others agree or disagree, or whether it jogs anyone else's memories and they can maybe post their own impressions, their own perspective, and that's really what I'm shooting for. So that's the general idea behind the Pete's Perspective series. Uh, I have the game lined up that I want to talk about next week. I'm not going to give any spoilers, and no, it's not going to be pinball this time. I know I did a lot of that for One More Castle. I'm going to try and work that in every so often. But there are certainly other games and systems out there that are worth talking about that I'm sure a lot of people can identify with as well. So that's the first thing. Those of you who watched the Sega CD piece that I posted earlier this week, again, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thanks to Halfbit, thanks to the gaming historian, thanks to Pat the NES Punk, thanks to all of you who make videos, whether it's every day, every week, every month, and entertain and keep me informed, because without you guys, I wouldn't be inspired to do what I do now. And I really don't have any expectation for it. It's just a fun pet project that I have, and we'll see where it goes. So that's the first part of the video that I'm making here, that I'm kind of sharing. The second part of it, excuse me, is something that I alluded to on Twitter earlier on the 17th, on Thursday. And that is that armchair analysis that I've been doing for popzara.com for the last year and a quarter, year and a half, something like that. That's going to be coming to an end in January. My last column will be covering the December 2013 NPD numbers, and then I will be stepping away from video game sales analysis entirely. Aside from maybe talking about it on Twitter a little bit, I won't be focusing on the area anymore. It's been a fantastic ride over the last 5+ years that I've been doing it. I started being interested in it when I was working for a website called Games Are Evil, which kind of gave me free reign to talk about things that I wanted to talk about. And I realized when I was covering, when I was covering NPD data for them, that I kind of had a knack for it, and I kind of liked to do it. And things just kind of got bigger from there. Several other websites gave me opportunities to write about NPD sales numbers, and I started to interject my own opinions and observations. And then things really grew to groundswell when I was talking about my feelings about what would happen with THQ in 2011 and then in 2012. And then after I gave it a go at E3 and I found out that there really wasn't going to be a future in analysis for me because of my lack of college education, or at least focused college education, I made a decision that I was going to slowly transition away from the field. And now I just think that it's going to be a good time at the end of the year to walk away from that and focus my free time, whether it's writing or doing video shoots, on other things such as writing video game reviews, which is what I started doing back in the late 1990s and well into the 2000s. Or talking about retro gaming, which is something obviously it's a big deal to me, and what I'm going to be doing my Pete's Perspective pieces on. So those of you who read my pieces, my armchair analysis pieces, those of you who interacted with me to talk about that stuff, I will always be appreciative of that. I felt almost like I belonged in the conversation. Granted, I wasn't a professional analyst like Jesse Divnich or Michael Pachter or Colin Sebastian or Billy Pigeon or any of those guys. But I felt like I could hold my own, and I felt like I had earned at least some modicum of credibility, and that was a big deal coming from a guy who didn't know a thing about it and learned everything on the fly, and really made my predictions, obviously based on trends, but really flying on by the seat of my pants. Some of my predictions were pretty close to right on. Other times I was way off. But that's what happens when you don't have the actual experience to back it up, and you kind of learn as you go. It was an experience that will always mean a lot to me, and certainly helped me make a lot of contacts, both in the social media sphere and also within the video game press community, and I'm always going to be grateful for that. But I just think that after doing it for, on and off, and especially on for the majority of the last 5 years, it's and with data becoming so much more difficult to come by, as it should be, because it's all subscriber data. It's time for me to step away and focus my time on other projects, and that's what I'm going to be doing. So not yet. I'll still be doing armchair analysis pieces for PopZara for the rest of this year and into January before I step away. So hopefully you guys will read those. And if you follow me on Twitter, I'll make sure I'll let you know when those pieces go live. So that's it for this update. Look for another Pete's Perspective next week. I'm pretty sure I have the game lined up that I want to do. Of course, that's always subject to change. We'll see. If you have any suggestions on games or systems that you want me to talk about, feel free to leave them in the comments below and let me know. That's it from here. Have a great weekend, everybody, and we'll talk.